Hi, my name is Gina Phillips, and I'm in Dr. Strange's EDM 510 class, and I'm doing a book review on Marc Prensky's book, Teaching Digital Natives, Partnering for Real Learning, where he critically reflects on the state of current teaching practices, identifying shortcomings in the 21st century, and providing an alternative that he refers to as partnering. Partnering as a good strategy is not foreign in and of itself because it draws on two basic premises premises of good teaching. One, students and teachers both have specific roles and responsibilities within the classroom. For instance, the student is responsible for finding and following their passion using the technology that is available to them, such as their classroom computers or other educational computers and their cell phones. They also research and find information, they answer questions and share their thinking. They practice and present their findings through a variety of textual and multimedia formats. So the teachers at the same time are charged with creating and asking the right questions. They guide students, they provide context, and they explain to students one-on-one, creating and ensuring quality. Although the roles are similar, Although these roles are familiar, Prensky encourages educators to abandon the old 20th century model of just telling. He adamantly sees telling as an inadequate strategy for teaching and engaging today's learners. For teachers who struggle with engaging students in the content of their lesson, the ideas presented in this book can really revolutionize your classroom as long as you are critically employing the strategies that are supposed to be used. What you notice in a classroom is that by redefining how you teach, asking more questions, and not telling but guiding students, and how you expect your students to learn, by finding out by any means necessary and developing ways of expressing their acquired knowledge. Students develop a greater degree of independence in their learning, and they are able to look for their own interest and find their passion. I think one of the ways that we have seen this take place is in this classroom. We've seen where we have had to figure things out on our own. And if that's good enough for us as teachers and future librarians, future teachers of the world, why wouldn't it be good enough for our students? So Prinsky also acknowledges many of the objections to his strategy. Teachers will say we still need to lecture, or that we won't be able to cover all the curriculum, or it's not feasible to individualize instruction to each and every student. Students need to learn the basics before they can apply what they've learned to real-world problems. And teachers need to understand and know the technology before they can teach it. So all of these are inadequate defenses to not changing the way we teach. No, we don't still need to lecture. I can see where you need to discuss things with your students, but no lecturing. And you can cover the curriculum as long as you're asking the right questions. You can individualize the course content for each student. Maybe not each individual student, but there are categories of students in your classroom, and there are ways to individualize the way you teach to each student. And the students need to learn the basics before they can apply them to real world problems. I don't agree with that either. I mean, it's just another silly thing that teachers throw up when they don't want to do something. And teachers need to know the technology before they can teach it, which is incredibly false because students come, I think, these days learning how to operate cell phones and computers. So they might be able to teach us as teachers something. All right, so teaching digital natives is really theoretical, but he does provide some tangible and practical suggestions as to how to transform your teaching from just telling and lecturing to partnering. And he understands that this isn't going to happen instantaneously, but it will take some time. You, as a teacher, and your students will have to learn how to do this and have to know what's going to happen and how it's going to happen. But the foundation of transforming the teaching practice is guided questions. You're going to have to model this behavior for your students. So there's really some 5 strategies that are explicitly identified for developing questions to engage the students, and they're located on page 85. Can my students understand the guided question? Are the guided questions open-ended, and do they require a complex answer? Will my students need to learn important content and a variety of skills and tools to answer the guided question? Do the guided questions allow me to create a local context for the topics under study, and do the students have to solve a real problem? And is the guided question using a combination of how and why questions? And once you've developed your guiding questions, Prensky suggests that we start individualizing our programs through asking personalized questions. And it's difficult to do this because we have to cover content. And if you explore these things through personalization, I think you're going to create questions that allow the students to discuss and research the content more. So I think the book is a little overwhelming in the beginning, especially in the beginning, because it's just really general theories. But as one would continue to read the text through, there's some ideas that could really be implemented into the classroom. And like I've said many times before, not everything I've ever done has worked in the classroom, and it won't always work for you either. But learning from your failures is never a failure. Always change the things and start again. Persevere and get through it. So I really enjoyed reading the book. I learned a lot from it. There's so many things I learned from it. But just a quick overview. I hope you'll take the time and read it yourself. Thank you.